Yeah, oh good.
Krishna is a lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. He is a lover of the cowherd maidens of Braj, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan. He is a beloved son of Mother Yashoda, the delighter of the inhabitants of Braj. And he wanders in the forests along the banks of the river Yamuna. Srila Prabhupada were very fond of this song and sang it just before Srila Prabhupada's lectures. In Allahabad and in Gorakhpur, Srila Prabhupada fell into a trance after singing the first two lines. And after some time, Srila Prabhupada came back to external consciousness and said, "Now just chant Hare Krishna." Srila Prabhupada said that this song is a picture of Vrindavan. Everything is there. Srimati Radharani, Govardhan, Srimati Vrindavan, Yashoda, and all the cowherd boys. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Brajjana Ranjana 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 Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय श्री श्री राधा गिरधारी भगवान की जय, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय, श्री श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, श्री श्री निताई गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Shri Gauranga ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswamiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prasayane Nivishesha Shundari Prasati Desayane. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone today. Now hopefully all of you can see this verse here that we are discussing today. I was screen share so you'll be able to see this. So we are now starting a new chapter, chapter number 28 and verse number 1 on Canto 3. So this is where we are continuing with the discussion and the instructions of Lord Kapila Dev to his very qualified mother Devhuti. And this particular chapter talks about how to practice or implement the yoga of Sankhya to attain the love of Godhead. The previous chapter, what we discussed was about the material world, the creation of the material world. We discussed about how the material world was created, the three modes of material nature, what was the first element that appeared in the world, and how the subsequent elements appeared. So from the sukshma, from the subtle elements, all the other gross elements appeared. Like from mode of ignorance, we've got sound, and then all the sense of touch, sense of hearing, all these things appearing. So this particular verse now will start with the recitation of the verse. If you can repeat after me, please. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yasya Yogasya Lakshanam Vakshye Sabijasya Nrupatmaje Mano Ye Naiva Vidhina Prasannam Yati Satpatham. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yogasya Lakshanam Vakshye Sabijasya Drupatmaje Mano Ye Naiva Vidhina Prasannam Yati Satpatham. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yogasya Lakshanam Vakshye Sabijasya Nrupatmaje Mano Ye Naiva Vidhina Prasannam Yati Satpatham. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yogasya Lakshanam Vakshye sabijasya nrupatmaje mano yenaiva vidhina prasannam yati satpatham. Jai, word to word synonyms, translations, and purports by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. If you can, please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The personality of Godhead said, Yogasya, of the yoga system, Lakshanam, description, Vaksye, I shall explain, Sabijasya, authorized, Nrupa Atmaje, O daughter of the king, Manaha, the mind, Yena, by which, Eva, certainly, Vidhina, by practice, Prasannam, joyful, Yati, attains, Satpatham, the path of the absolute truth. The personality of God had said, of the yoga system, description, I shall explain. Authorized, O daughter of the king, the mind by which, certainly by practice, joyful, attains the path of the absolute truth. Translation. The personality of God had said, my dear mother, O daughter of the king, now I shall explain to you the system of yoga, the object of which is to concentrate the mind. By practicing this system, one can become joyful and progressively advance towards the path of the absolute truth. Jai. Purport. The process of the yoga process explained by Lord Kapiladev in this chapter is authorized and standard. And therefore, these instructions should be followed very carefully. To begin, the Lord says that by yoga practice, one can make progress towards understanding the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the previous chapter, it has been clearly stated that the desired result of yoga is not to achieve some wonderful mystic power. One should not be at all attracted by such mystic power, but should attain progressive realization on the path of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, which states in the last verse of the 6th chapter that the greatest yogi is he who constantly thinks of Krishna within himself, or he who is Krishna conscious. It is stated here that by the system of yoga, one can become joyful. Lord Kapila, the personality of Godhead, who is the highest authority on yoga, here explains the yoga system known as Ashtanga Yoga, which comprises 8 different practices, namely Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. By all these stages of practice, one must realize Lord Vishnu, which is the target of all yoga. There are so many yoga practices in which one concentrates the mind on the void or on the impersonal. But this is not approved by the authorized yoga system as explained by Kapiladev. Even Patanjali explains that the target of all yoga is Vishnu. Ashtanga Yoga is therefore part of Vaishnava practice because its ultimate goal is realization of Vishnu. The achievement of success in yoga is not acquisition of mystic power, which is condemned in the previous chapter, but rather freedom from all material designations and situations in one's constitutional position. This is the ultimate achievement of yoga practice. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I would just like to take a minute, and I just want to do some small thing here. 1 second, please. I'll be with you soon. Okay. Belong. Here it is. Okay, all right. I think we'll do the screen sharing again. Okay, we go here. Okay. So the translation again. The personality of Godhead said, "My dear mother, O daughter of the king, now I shall explain to you the system of yoga, the object of which is to concentrate the mind. By practicing this system, one can become joyful and progressively advance towards the path of the absolute truth." Now, in this verse, there are 3 words which are significant. One is this, which is called Sabijasya, which is authorized. So if you see here, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Yogasya Lakshanam Vakshaye Sabhijasya Nrupatmaje Mano Yevaina Vidhina Prasannam Yati Satpatham. So the first word which is important is Sabhijasya, authorized. The second word which is important in this verse, it is this word, Prasannam, means joyful. Okay. And the third one is Satpatham, which is very important, the path of the absolute truth. So here, even the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Kapila Dev, has informed his mother that what he is going to say is an authorized process, okay, of realizing God. Now, as we understand, Srila Prabhupada also mentions there's another Kapila also, who is an imposter Kapil, whose system is not accepted. But here, Lord Kapila Dev, the Srimad Bhagavatam, describes the system of Sankhya Yoga, which is authorized. We'll discuss about this process also, this point too. The first point I would like to discuss today, we can meditate upon, is this joyful, this prasanna. Yeah, joyful. This is very important and very significant because of the importance of being joyful, remaining joyful in this process, in this material world. Lord Krishna emphasizes this point because everyone in this world wants to become joyful and remain joyful. But this joyfulness does not remain forever. There's a very important concept, and this is called halad tapakari. This particular word, halad tapakari, is mentioned and elaborated in the purport of Canto 6, Chapter 24 by Srila Prabhupada. It's a bit technical word, which says that halada, which is haladani shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which you understand is also represented as a personal form of Radharani and the personal potency of Krishna, the superior energy of Krishna, the internal potency of Krishna. So when this internal potency of Krishna, it also manifests in the material world, but this particular potency by itself, if people want to enjoy, this creates tapakari. Tapakari means it creates a lot of pain and miseries to people. So it's very interesting. The spiritual potency of Krishna, which is his pleasure potency, in the material world, it creates tapakari, miseries to people. That is the reason why in this material world, every living being is miserable. And because of this misery, they are constantly hankering after happiness. And as we understand, we find happiness momentarily. But as Srila Prabhupada very correctly instructs us that this happiness is actually the absence of unhappiness. We don't know what real happiness is. This is revolutionary actually. If you go to see, when Prabhupada mentions that what happiness we experience in the material world is actually the non-existence of unhappiness. So momentarily when unhappiness is not there, for that moment we become happy. And we think we are very happy. You know, this coronavirus will be over, if at all it will be over. Then we are very happy. Oh, we're very happy now. After some time, again a war will come. Again we are not happy. After some time, again some drought will come. And war is over, we are happy. Drought will come, we are unhappy. Foolishness goes on. A devotee, a very introspective sage. This is very important. And in Srila Prabhupada mentions this in the words of Bhagavad Gita. Where he says the sage does not discriminate between living beings. So the word is the introspective sage. That means devotees are very introspective. Brahmane gavi hastini, shunicheva shapakecha, panditaha samadarshinaha. Vidya vinaya sampanne, brahmane gavi hastini, shunicheva shapakecha, panditaha samadarshinaha. So this introspective sage, we devotees should be trained to look internal, introspective, not external. Externally, everything is miserable. So we find our peace internal. By our virtue of our bhakti, we have to find out the existence of the super soul, Paramatma. At least the second stage we must realize. The Brahman we may not be much keen, but it is automatically understood when you worship Krishna as Parabrahman or as Bhagavan. So here, this joyful prasanna is very significant, and there is a reason why Krishna mentions and elaborates this in one full verse. See, in chapter 9, in this chapter 9, the very initial part of this particular verse is mentioned. Here is the verse. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. You see? So here, Susukham, very happy. This is important. Very happy. So Rajavidya means the king of knowledge. Here in chapter 9, Lord Krishna is now instructing Arjuna, his dear friend, about the king of education, the king of knowledge. Rajaguhyam, the king of confidential knowledge, you see. So he emphasizes this point, that he's going to tell him the secret of all secrets. Pavitram, which is the purest. Idam, this. Uttamam, transcendental. There's nothing bigger than that. Pratyaksha, directly experienced. This is very important too. Directly experienced. Because this experience, a practitioner can directly experience. That is why this process is called, the Bhakti Yoga process is called the process of self-realization. Agamam, understood. Dharmyam, the principle of religion. This is the principle of religion. Susukham, very happy. Kartum, to execute. Avyayam, everlasting. Another very significant point is that the process and this happiness is everlasting. We all want to be happy, but we are looking for happiness which is everlasting. You see? So that is the reason why Krishna took this whole verse explaining this point, that the importance of joyfulness and the everlasting joyfulness. So let's go to translation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Lord Krishna says, this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge. And because it gives a direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. Here comes the important point. Now, it is joyfully performed. One can say, okay, I'm being joyful in performing devotional service, which is good. But after the process, if we are momentarily happy in this performance of this devotional service, then again we are trapped in the same material position, material world. Where there's happiness and distress, heat and cold, duality existing. But the moment, even in this body that we live, even in this world that we are living, if we are attached to this transcendence, Uttamam, this transcendental knowledge, secret of all the secrets, then that happiness that we derive, that happiness will have permanency in its nature. Because the nature of spiritualism, the nature of spirituality, of Vaikuntha, is permanence. In the material world, things keep changing. You see things, roads being constructed where there were no roads. Then that road is again broken, something more comes about. Then again something else comes about. So many things keep on changing. And human mind is such that we want to keep changing things. Srila Prabhupada is very against this. So why do you want to change? Why do you want to improve? If this is improved, this is best. If something is working, why do you want to change? And that's why there's a English maxim, which says that if it's ain't broken, don't fix it. But the material commercial civilization, the commercialism that we live in, that we are so called attached to for making money all the time. If we don't break things, we can't make something new, so we can't make money. The idea is to make money. If something is going smoothly, no problem. You break it, make money. I've seen it so many times. Even where we do our programs in Newlyn, the whole community center was very different. The whole roads were very different. They were broken, constructed, again broken, again constructed, again broken, again constructed. What is there now, after some time, it'll again be broken. We don't understand what is this going on. It was so smooth. We used to reach that particular place from point A to point B so fast, And now there are so many signals, lights, this, that. It takes us 15, 20 minutes to reach that point, which used to be reaching in about 3 to 5 minutes. This is the problem. So we are always hankering for being joyful, that is right. But we want to have this everlasting joyfulness, everlasting joy. And that Krishna assures that by this king of knowledge, the most secret of all secrets, it is the purest of knowledge. And because it gives direct perception of the self by self-realization, it is the perfection of religion, it is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So this is one important point which we have to understand. You see, now, how can it be joyfully performed? This is the instruction which Krishna gives. If you do perform devotional service, then you get happiness, it is transcendental, and by virtue of it, it is everlasting. Now, okay, once a practitioner starts to practice this, that he is practicing bhakti yoga, he is practicing, then in that process, how is it that it becomes everlasting? Because there are so many impediments. The moment you start practicing bhakti yoga, you've got so many problems, man. As it is, you've got so many problems. The coronavirus stops your income coming into the family. You've got family, you have to maintain the family. You have to go to school, college, education, go to job. Government pays something as charity, But most of us would think we are not beggars, man, that we want this kind of things from the government. But still, even if it is done, how much are they giving? $490? You see, that's generosity. For all so many years of your paying taxes, you get $490, which will give you some basic necessities also that is not fulfilled. You have to cut somewhere, So in all these situations, how can you keep performing bhakti without interruption? And that is everlasting. But how is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. You see, if you go to see, then the Krishna consciousness process talks about what is Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So what is explained in the Bhagavad Gita? What to do, what not to do. So nectar of instruction, Shishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita. Now, after you understand what to do, what not to do, then how to do it, that is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, if there is no connection, if we do not study the what clearly, if we don't have clear conceptions of what, then it will be very difficult for us to understand how this is implemented. That is the reason why we should be warned of Srila Prabhupada's books. And very scrutinizingly we must study. Yes, we do not have time. We have our jobs, business, family to maintain. Even if you're not best, a brahmachari, there is best. But still there are so many issues with it. We have got interpersonal issues, so many issues going on and on. But somehow or other, if we are able to force our mind and force ourselves to sit in one particular place and read Bhagavad Gita, the what, sincerely. If in the association of devotees, that is best. If we got right association, that is the best. Then after that, we can do how, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. You see, to do this regularly, one very important thing is needed. When I was a very young man, I must have been just before my teenage years. I remember one yoga person had come where I was living there. So his followers, he was a practitioner of pranayam. He's a big authority, and one of our family friends had invited us for his talks. And they said that we have experienced this person's power. He was from South India. Very powerful, an old man, but we could see he had a lot of wisdom and power. And he said that somebody had cancer, in the body, suffering from cancer. And this person would go and give that person vibrations, see, with his hands on the body for some months like this. He did regularly, and that cancer went away. So these particular family friends of ours were very influenced by him. So they called us to say, go and approach him. I mean, listen to his class. He's coming here. We organize this classes for him. Please listen to him. So I went there. I must have been before teens. I don't remember what all he spoke, but one thing I remember very distinctly what he said. He said that you must do pranayam. He was talking about pranayam, breathing exercises. You must do these breathing exercises sitting in one place. He said, select a nice place in your house or wherever, but go to that place again and again every day. As you go to that place, you will feel comfortable. And he explained why you feel comfortable. He said that the vibrations of what you are doing, the vibrations are there in that place. So if there are good vibrations you are experiencing when you're sitting there, then you keep going there again and again, then you enhance the good and positive vibrations. I remember him distinctly. Now, why is it relevant? Because many years after, when I met my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, Maharaj would insist upon this point to say that you will not find time to read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. But somehow or other, you must have one place in your home. Maharaj repeated and emphasized the same word and elaborated it very nicely so that we could understand. So he said that, Maharaj said that if you have one place in your home where you sit and study Bhagavatam, then a mindset is such that this is my place for Bhagavatam. You should just like small children have got place to eat or place to study, or even if they're doing some mischief, you say this is your place to sit down and not do mischief, Similarly, if we sit in one place, that place is our place for study, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So even everyone in the house, they know if you're sitting in this place, that means you should not be disturbed. And you have your book, Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavatam, have a pen and pad, make notes, underline things, give cross references, understand each word. This word to word synonyms, Maharaj said, is very significant. Prabhupada spent most of his time in this word to word synonyms. Because in this word to word synonyms, the whole mood of the speaker is understood by Srila Prabhupada. And that's where the as it is comes into play, the word to word synonyms. And that's why you'll find that Srila Prabhupada many times spoke lectures only on one word of the verse. You see? So, if you sit in one particular place, the vibrations are very nice. And that's where, if you do it regularly, you'll get confidence of doing things. So from the what, understanding what is Krishna consciousness, what is Krishna instructing in Bhagavad Gita, we can understand how it is implemented. So the how of it is implemented is mentioned here, like when it is everlasting and joyfully performed, the process of Bhakti Yoga is explained how it is everlasting in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse number 6. The very important verse. We must all memorize this verse. Many of us already know this verse. It's very significant. And this verse gives us the clue how it becomes everlasting. Let's see this verse. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahai tukya apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Once again, savai pumsam paro dharmo Yato bhakti radhokshaje ahai tukkiya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. So again the word synonyms. So savai, saha, that, vai, certainly, pumsam, for mankind, so for all mankind, paroho, sublime, dharma, occupation. See again, the definition of dharma is not religion, it's occupation. So whatever duties that we are performing, this point will be discussed in the next verse, which is tomorrow. So whoever will give tomorrow's verse, please, he'll be speaking on this prescribed duties, which is occupation. So this is a precourse to the next verse. Dharma, occupation. Yataha, by which. Bhakti, devotional service. Adhokshaje, unto the transcendence. Ahaituki, causeless. Apratihata, unbroken. Here comes unbroken. Yaya, by which. Atma, the self. Suprasidati, completely satisfied. So when one has got joy, one is joyful. And the joyful is of permanence in nature. First thing that comes is that person becomes satisfied. There's nothing more to be achieved. Okay, and there is nothing to be given. This is the point one understands. My son is now coming, but good, we are doing screen sharing, so no need to see me. As there's no point in seeing me. We can see what Prabhupada are writing here. Okay, so this is the point where after one is completely joyful and remains permanent, one is completely satisfied. So that don't come to the translation, still remain in the word synonyms. So that certainly for mankind, sublime occupation. So the occupation is for mankind, by which devotional service unto the transcendence, causeless, unbroken, by which the self completely satisfied. Okay, so that means in this verse we're talking about the Sukadeva Goswami is speaking about transcendence, bhakti unto the transcendence, by which if it is unbroken, then one is completely satisfied. Okay, this is more or less the meaning. Now let's come to the translation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which man can attain loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Now comes important point. Such service, such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So there are three very important points here. First is the supreme occupation, dharma for all humanity. So what is the dharma for all humanity occupation? By which one man can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. This is the most important thing, overriding factor. The second point is such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So for self-satisfaction, when everybody wants to be self-satisfied, our bhakti has to be unmotivated. When it is unmotivated, then it becomes uninterrupted. And when it is unmotivated, it becomes uninterrupted. At that point in time, it will completely satisfy the self. Otherwise, our bhakti, if it is broken, because it is motivated, we are always dissatisfied. So we are satisfied sometime, we are dissatisfied sometime. We got issues with people have issues with us, we can't concentrate all the time. We are in and out of bhakti all the time. So this is where the how is mentioned. You see? Very, very significant. Again, to this point, when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, so Bhagavad Gita talks about where Krishna is saying that this is knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is purest knowledge. And because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is a perfection of religion. It is everlasting. It is joyfully performed. Right? So we are trying to see how it can be everlasting, so it becomes joyfully performed all the time. We can remain joyful all the time. That is given in 1-6 of Srimad Bhagavatam, which says that this bhakti process should be unmotivated. If we are a good kirtankar, we want people to come and listen to us. This is wrong. If you are a good Bhagavatam reciter, we will speak Bhagavatam when we got hundreds of people surrounding us. That is also wrong. We are studying to gain knowledge so we can prove to others. That is also wrong. This is motivated. Our study of Bhagavad Gita, the what and how of Srimad Bhagavatam, we should have only for two reasons. One reason is for satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, for pleasing Krishna, and second, for our own purification. That's it. Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj emphasizes this point very much, and it is so true. Because we are having all these kind of side motives, we are constantly juggling our relationships with people. We're changing things. We're fighting with our own selves. And this fighting takes away so much energy and time of ours so that our bhakti becomes interrupted. See, the definition of Krishna consciousness is that you always remember Krishna, is first principle of Krishna consciousness. And second principle is never forget him. The second principle. So the difference between a bhakta who is a devotee, who is struggling, and a devotee who is uttama, pure, is that uttama bhakti is constantly remembering Krishna. That's it. It's a question of remembrance of Krishna. You can sit in one place and remember Krishna. That is uttam bhakti. But the problem is that our concentration, our meditation for Krishna is interrupted. And here it is given why? Because we are motivated. The moment we are motivated, then our desires for doing something takes away our concentration from Krishna. It's very logical, very simple. But when we are doing our bhakti for those two reasons, one is for the satisfaction of Krishna, and second for our own purification, that's it. No third motive. Then it becomes unmotivated. And because it is unmotivated, it becomes uninterrupted. It remains constant. So when any devotee does a service constantly for many years, keeping his mouth shut, that person is experiencing unmotivated bhakti. Yes, many times devotees come and go, which is again is a question. We should not be doing those things. Any service, even studying Bhagavatam is a service. Studying Bhagavad Gita is a service. We think it is not service. That is our problem. Cooking for Krishna is service. Wherever you can be. Serving Krishna, offering Krishna is service. You see? Being loyal to Krishna is service. Being loyal to the teachings of the acharyas in Sampradaya is a service. We don't consider this service, you see. That is our problem. We have got our own ways of thinking, in our own ways of definitions of things. So, in these services, which is as per our occupation, as per our prescribed duty, as per our nature, if we perform those services and we are satisfied in our nature, then it becomes unmotivated, then it becomes uninterrupted. Moment we are trying to do things which is not our nature, we are very fighting. But remember one thing, in Krishna's service, we have to do things which is not our nature too. Prabhupada taught us this point. So what we do is, we do what is not our nature, understand, for service we are doing, for preaching we are doing things. But once it is done, we come back to our nature, that will give us unmotivated and uninterrupted service. And that is where we are completely satisfied with our own self. When we are satisfied with our own self, that is the peace with which we want to live our life. And that is the point, over a period of time, slowly, we will realize the Supreme Absolute Truth. And truthfulness is very important in bhakti. It is very important for any living being truthful. And truthfulness, first thing is, we should be truthful to our own self. What we like, what we don't like. What is our nature? We have got Brahmana, Kshatriya, what tendencies have we got? Based upon that, we lead our life. That will give us uninterrupted and unmotivated bhakti. And that is will give us complete satisfaction. And this point in time, we get a glimpse of the existence of Paramatma within our heart. And in all the activities that we do, we can see Bhagavan form over a period of time. We can see that these teachings are that of Bhagavan, which are not different from Bhagavan. Then we can understand when Krishna says that I am the taste of water, Rasaham Apsu Kaunteya, Then when we drink water, we see, this taste is of Krishna. Prabhasmi Sachi Surya Ho. I am the rays of the sun and the moon. When you see that, you say, yes, this is Krishna. Everything else becomes superficial. So we live in this body, we're existing in this body, which may be suffering or enjoying or interacting with the modes of material nature, but inside us, this body, we are aloof from the body and we are self-satisfied. We're constantly in the self-satisfaction mode. You see, momentarily we can be attached to the body for dissatisfaction and all that, but as long as we are honest to ourselves and truthful, it remains unmotivated and uninterrupted. We are back to ourself of, I'm not the body, I'm a spirit soul. You see, this is how is mentioned here. These are very important points. Before I conclude, I also wanted to speak on a few short points which I've made on the process of Ashtanga Yoga. You see, many times devotees or practitioners of Bhakti Yoga, I cannot generalize, I'm very sorry. I had this situation too myself, to put it this way. We misunderstand that Ashtanga Yoga is not for us. It's not Bhakti Yoga. It's not Krishna consciousness. Answer is yes and no. It is not, because if it is not focused upon understanding Krishna, then it is not helpful for one's bhakti. But if it is to realize Lord Vishnu or Krishna, then the Ashtanga Yoga process is authorized, as spoken by Lord Kapil Dev, and also by Patanjali system. But if people are going to just use Ashtanga Yoga, the Eightfold Mystic, for bodily comfort or for other mysticism, then it is not for us. This point is very much highlighted by Srila Prabhupada in this purport, where Prabhupada said last whole chapter, which we have discussed, they speak about the Ashtanga Yoga which should not be utilized for material sense gratification. The 8 siddhis that we get, becoming, creating a planet or controlling power of others. We can float lighter than the lightest, heavier than the heaviest. We can become all those things. We can expand into 8 different forms at one time. All these processes, all these are the effects of Ashtanga Yoga, but not the final. The final is that of understanding Krishna. And that is why Srila Prabhupada says this Ashtanga Yoga process is therefore part of Vaishnava practice. Yeah? Prabhupada says, why? Because its ultimate goal is to realize Vishnu. So as long as we perform Ashtanga Yoga for process to realize Vishnu, then it is bona fide, it's authorized. Now there are 8 different practices of Ashtanga Yoga. It's very important to know this. Then we understand that why Ashtanga Yoga may not be beneficial for us in this age of Kali. Just knowing that yes, it is not beneficial for age of Kali, Bhakti Yoga is beneficial, that is good. That's very good. But if you want to remain permanence, you have to understand why. So the why is given here. Okay, let's see the processes, the 8 processes, different processes, the practices. It's yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. See, these are the 8 processes, 8 practices mentioned of Ashtanga Yoga. Now, these are elaborately discussed in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Now, what are these processes? Let's see. 1, yama. Yama meaning, first thing, controlling the senses. So the first point of Ashtanga Yoga is to control the senses. One has to give up sense gratification. That's the very first point. Now we are struggling with that point as well as Bhakti Yogis. After such a long practice, we are not able to control our senses. It's a big problem. Okay. So first itself is a no. Second is niyam. Niyam meaning strictly following the rules and regulations of the process. And they're very rigid, which is mentioned in 6th chapter. You must find a secluded place, go into a forest, lay kusha grass, close the eyes, half closed, not fully open. And one has to concentrate upon the tip of the nose. Yeah, breathing in, breathing out, the air should combine together and suspend the breathing. Well, all the best in this age to do this. Okay, there is niyam, strict, strictly following the rules and regulations. Then third is asana. Asana means the sitting postures. See, for us to sit in our lotus posture itself for half an hour is so hard, man. We change, we move this, do like this, and all those things. How can we sit in one particular place for hours and days together? So, practicing sitting posture, first three. Then, the fourth, pranayama. This is the practice of controlling the breath. Yeah. As chapter 6 mentions, the breathing air, the control, moment you control your air, you will control your mind. This is very important. You should know this. Just by controlling the air, you will control the mind. If you can do pranayama a bit, your health will be good also, and your mind will be controlled. But if you don't have time for pranayama, just go for a walk. Walking is best yoga practice, At least for half an hour, 45 minutes, go for a walk. If you're chanting, take a japa beat and do japa walk. It's very important. So pranayama, breath control. Then pratyahar. Now comes very significant points. Okay? Pratyahar meaning withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. Here we come. You see? So Arjuna is asking the question in the 6th chapter that one sense is so powerful it can take away the whole person's concentration and meditation. How to control it? Chanchalam himana Krishna. Arjuna is asking this question. The mind is so flickering, man. And why mind? He's saying it is easy to control the wind, the storm, than to control the mind. This is so true. And Krishna is repairing the answer. Asamshaya mahabaho. He says, no doubt, Arjuna. That is absolutely right what you're saying. But he's saying, abhyasena, by constant practice, you will be able to achieve this point. And by detachment, he's saying. Vairagyena cha dushkritam. So by vairagya and by constant practice, you'll be able to achieve this thing about sense control. So withdrawing the senses from the sense objects is pratyahar. After that comes dharana, meditation. Concentration of the mind. Dharana is a concentration of the mind. When the mind is at this point in time concentrating, don't allow it to flicker anyway. That's why we take the use. This point we do as bhakti yogis. Because we are trying to concentrate upon Krishna, that's why we take the name of Krishna. And we say we should be audible in speaking, in chanting the holy names. As we are audible, then we can concentrate. Otherwise, we cannot concentrate. Then we have got dhyan. Dhyan is a meditation. Meditating on the form of Vishnu, form of Krishna. And then ultimately, we are in samadhi. That is self-realization. So that's how this practice of Ashtanga Yoga is very much a bona fide process of Vaishnava practice. Because as long as the ultimate goal is Lord of Vishnu, it's of Lord Vishnu. But today's world, people take bits and pieces for the sense enjoyment. Yeah. So this is the point that we understood from this particular verse for today that we are discussing. I'll repeat the translation again. We have short about the time, so I'll have to conclude now. Krishna is sorry, I'm just trying to see now. Here. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yogasya Lakshanam Vakshye Sabijasya Nrupatmaje Mano Yenaiva Vidhina Prasannam Yati Satpatham. So, translation, the personality of Godhead said, my dear mother, O daughter of the king, I shall now explain to you the system of yoga, the object of which is to concentrate the mind. By practicing this system, one can become joyful and progressively advance towards the path of the absolute truth. So we discussed the three important three points which stood out in this particular verse. One was that of subjusya, which is it is authorized. Lord Kapil Dev insists is authorized practice of Sankhya Yoga, which we discussed. What is authorized as long as it is in the concentration on Krishna, it is authorized. Otherwise, it is bogus. Then it is prasannam. It's very joyfully performed. We discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, where Krishna insists and spends a whole one verse on this point about being joyful in performing devotional service. And then we discussed how the joyful can be permanent in nature. So that's why we discussed Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 6, where we mentioned how one can remain joyful. It has to be, bhakti has to be unmotivated to become uninterrupted. We discussed about how it can remain unmotivated. That is a very significant point, and to remain uninterrupted. And at that point in time, when we are performing devotional service, unmotivated, uninterrupted, that is when it remains. We are always very happy, completely satisfied. That is the point we discussed there. Yeah, completely satisfied. And with that, we come to the path of the absolute truth, Krishna. And at the end, we discussed how Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya Yoga, of the Ashtanga Yoga principles. We discussed the 8 processes which are needed. We discussed how it is not important that we should be misusing it or misunderstanding it just for attaining the Ashta Siddhis, 8 Siddhis, and it should be utilized for understanding Krishna. This is what I understood, and I realized from this important verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. All of you are better students of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. You would have your own realizations. If you'd like to share your realizations, I'll wait for a few seconds for you to say. Otherwise, we'll complete the discussion today. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Please feel free. Okay, I can see only on Zoom if there's anything which people are seeing. So, anyway, thank you very much. Jai Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shishananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaurchanda Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.